In this video, I want to talk about why I believe Alexander the Great was such an exceptional leader and why his leadership skills are still have an impact on us to this day and how you can apply them to yourself. In previous videos, I mentioned that I believe that I'm a strong leader. So I wanted to share some of the things that um, inspired my form of leadership. More specifically, who inspired my form of leadership, and that is Alexander the Great. So, for those who don't know, he was a Macedonian king who led from 356 BC to 323 BC. He was 32 years old when he died. He became king at 20 and conquered for 12 years and took over what is now modern day Greece, Albania, Bulgaria, Turkey, Lebanon, Syria, Israel, Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and northwestern Pakistan, all before the age of 32, which is absolutely insane. So how was he able to do this? Why was he such an impactful leader that he rallied all these people to have his back 100% of the time until his death? So I want to talk about some of the tactics that I thought were imperative to a strong leader in general. Never mind one of the strongest leaders to ever live. So one of the things that he did that I think stood out to me the most was the fact that he led from the front. He led with example. He wasn't a king that stood in the back of the crowd and let his troops handle war for him. He embodied what it means to lead a charge. He literally did it. He went in the front of these crowds and was in the battle with people. He would take genuine risks alongside his soldiers, fighting next to them, taking on serious injuries. He lived simple lives with his soldiers. If they went hungry, he went hungry. If a horse died and people had to walk, he would walk alongside them. If there was a battle to be had, he was alongside his soldiers, fighting with them. So it's safe to say that in terms of the physical fight that his people had to go through, he was alongside them and set the example for how he wanted them to act in the fight. Not by telling them what to do, but by actually doing it. Another report shows that he actually knew the names of thousands upon thousands of his soldiers and his people. He wasn't just some king ordering you around without even knowing your name. He genuinely knew who you were. That's a personal investment in people, and that goes a long way. I believe this is one of the most underrated things in leadership. If you can make everybody feel seen equally, equal to yourself, somebody who's supposed to be above them, I think that's extremely impactful. Another thing Alexander the Great did was adapting relentlessly. Every time there was a tactic that wouldn't work out or just wasn't going his way, he would change his approach. Constant evolution and change was what allowed him to be so successful. Many leaders in history fall because they don't change and they don't evolve to the times. But he was able to reign for 12 years and conquer thousands upon millions of miles of land because he adapted to any tactic that was thrown his way. And the last thing, among many other things that I have, is that he set an unreasonably ambitious vision. This unbelievably ambitious vision that he had was so impactful to some people that they just had to be a part of it. It gave people something bigger than their just day-to-day to really strive for. And that's what I think made so many people believe in him and want to follow him. How do we use the example of Alexander the Great and apply it to today and being a leader in today's world? Obviously, you're not riding to war on horseback, so how can you apply what we learned from Alexander the Great in today's world? I think the 4 things that I listed are absolutely applicable in today's world. Leading from the front, knowing who you were leading, adapting relentlessly, and setting an ambitious vision. Especially in today's day and age, people do not like to be told what to do by someone who they don't believe cares about them. So if you can prove to people that you're in it with them and that you're fighting with them, no matter what the battle may be, they'll be more prone to listen to you and to fight with you. Not to mention actually knowing who these people are at their core. It goes beyond just knowing somebody's name and where they're from, but actually developing a relationship with them and proving that you're worth listening to. I mentioned in a previous video that I was the president of my fraternity. Every single year since I joined, I made an active effort to memorize everybody's names. And I feel like that added a layer of trust to what I was doing, because they knew that I knew who they were and why they were here. I think in today's day and age, with everything going on with AI, it is especially important to adapt relentlessly in the way that Alexander has. And being able to adapt is such an important trait, because in such an unpredictable world, you never know what is going to come your way. You never know what challenges you're going to face. Assuming formlessness, it's such an imperative skill if you're a leader. Now, the first three things I listed, I think, are almost must-haves to being a leader. But setting an unreasonably ambitious vision almost feels like a bonus, because while you don't have to have that to be a good leader, I think it's what separates the good leaders from the great leaders, right? I want to give an example from the movie Whiplash. For those who don't know, well, if you don't know this movie, you should watch it. But for those who don't know, it's a movie about a guy who is basically just trying to become a drummer, and he is in this relentless pursuit of being one of the best to ever do it. And he's extremely talented, and he has this conductor, who's the conductor of the band or whatever, and he pushes him to the absolute limit. Towards the end of the movie, he basically pushes him over the edge and helps him realize his full potential. So the reason I bring that up is because obviously Fletcher, the conductor in this scenario, is the leader. He has set this unreasonably ambitious vision for Andrew, his student. And a lot can be said about his leadership throughout that film. I don't know if you would even consider him a good leader. I don't even know if this is a good example, honestly. But having that unreasonably ambitious vision for his student, in my opinion, felt like that's what pushed him to achieve greatness in that sense. So I want to conclude by saying this. Being a leader in general takes courage, right? It takes guts to actually step up into that position of leading a ton of people. But being a great leader takes these traits and many more. But these are the ones that stuck out to me the most. I think if you're somebody that's approaching a leadership position, always make sure to set a great example, know who it is that you're leading, adapt relentlessly to whatever gets thrown your way, and be crazy ambitious about what you're doing. Thank you.